Before we get into the topic of today's video, I just gotta stop and wish you a happy Friday. I hope you had a great week, and I hope you got some great plans for the weekend. But now let's get to the real reason why you're here, which is to talk some smack about Governor Andrew Cuomo. Yeah, that's right, the guy who everyone fell in love with during the year 2020. He could do no wrong. Everything he did was just met with all this positivity. He was this godlike figure sent from the heavens, and he saved planet Earth, guys. Obviously being over dramatic, but you get the gist of where I'm going with it. So I just know so many people who fell in love with this guy, fawned over him 24/7, said he had such great leadership, such great composure. They would love to tune into the briefings every day because they just had to see him and forget about it. Once he started doing those interviews with his brother Chris Cuomo on CNN, they just lost it. They were like, that's it. I want Joe Biden to drop out of the race. I want Cuomo to replace him. I totally vote for him. So all I'm trying to say is it's nice to finally see him kind of get kicked off that pedestal that everyone put him on. Because I don't like him on a personal level, but I also don't like him on a political level. You know, I just really don't like politicians in general. I'm just going to be really honest. Whether you wear a blue tie, a red tie, gold tie, whatever tie, I don't care. If you're a politician, I'm very skeptical of just giving you my vote and then making it to where you have rule over me. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my take. But what I want to talk about just before we get into what he's going through right now, why he's being portrayed as this negative character, well, I just want to also mention, I think he's this cocky, conceited guy, loves to stick his nose in business where it doesn't belong, and he always wants to make himself seem like the good guy. So with that in mind, the last thing I'll mention before we get into what he's going through right now is this is the kind of guy who had the audacity to publish a book about leadership skills during the virus going around, okay? Because I know, during the year 2020, I'm talking like April, May, June, everyone loved what Cuomo was doing. So he publishes a book about leadership skills. But in case you haven't been keeping up, New York State is the number 2 highest state in terms of the death count for the virus. California's 1, New York State is number 2. So I don't know about you, but in terms of leadership, that's not leadership. I think his book should be like leading from behind or something like that, right? I mean, let me give you another analogy. I'm a football guy. That's like a 6-10 football team, their head coach publishing a book about how to make the playoffs. Like, do you kind of get where I'm going at with it? But anyway, it makes me feel better because I got that off my chest. Let's get into the reason why he's being portrayed as a negative character. There's 2 reasons. The first one we're going to talk about right now, which is the nursing homes. So this was actually in late March, early April-ish, right, when we started to learn a little more about the virus. So not only Governor Cuomo of New York State, but my governor, Phil Murphy, they both did this, not together, but, around the same time, where they forced nursing homes to take COVID-positive patients, okay? And they have their reasons to doing that, but there were so many people saying, hey, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe there might be some repercussions if you do that, right? But of course, no, he knows best. Don't want to talk about it. Just shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. So push came to shove, and sure enough, now it kind of came out a couple weeks ago that, well, maybe their administration wasn't being truthful about how many people died because of the virus in these nursing homes. So that's kind of the scandal in and of itself. You can argue whether you agree with it or not. All I'm trying to say is, it makes it seem like there's a dent in his political armor now, right? Like there's a blemish on his career. So I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see. It's ongoing. I know people are calling for his resignation because of this in particular. You're probably going to hear more drips and drops of information coming out in the future. But obviously, this is the one reason why he was being portrayed in a negative way. And like I said, I think it was like a week or 2 ago. So this was the first thing. Then afterwards, this is where the really spicy stuff came into play. So hopefully you can see this photo, and it doesn't really seem like the girl whose head he kind of has his hands on is really welcoming towards his advances, right? It's kind of a cringy photo. So I don't know if this girl in the photo is one of the women, I say girl, but I don't know if she's one of the women that is accusing him of sexual harassment. But I know at the time of recording the video, he's got 3 separate accusers right now. So like I said, she might be one of them, she might not be. So this is where things are really starting to take a weird turn, because you have people on the left that are calling for his resignation, and really it's mainly people that are really far left. And the reason for that is because while Cuomo certainly has some interesting policies to say the least that they would agree with. They still look at him as if he's a moderate Democrat, so they want him gone. So that's why they're calling for his resignation. But then you got a lot of people on the right calling for his resignation, and I totally get why they're calling for it, right? I can totally sympathize with him. All I'm trying to say is I don't want to be one of these people that starts playing political gymnastics. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to abandon my core belief that you are innocent until proven guilty. I don't want to be one of these people on the right calling for his resignation just because I don't like him and it aids me politically. You know, before there's a trial, he shouldn't be doing anything. And the reason for that, you might say, oh, you're trying to, you're helping this guy out now. I thought you said you didn't like him. The reason why is I'm trying to look at it long term. So if we kind of let him set the precedent, like let's say he resigns, he steps down, he says, hey, I was accused, I should step down. He sets up the precedent for future politicians that if they're accused, before there's even a trial, they have to step down. And the reason why I'm looking at that is obviously more harm than good is because we're eventually going to get somebody that's going to want to shake up the system, right? Somebody who's not really a politician, but they're running for office because they want to help out average everyday Americans, right? You kind of know what I'm talking about right now. So if we allow this precedent to be set, do you think that person's going to just get an easy campaign run? No, because anyone that's got money and power, they're easily just going to say, hey, we're going to get some actress and they're going to accuse you of doing something. And oh yeah, now the precedent has been set and you have to resign. Do you kind of understand where I'm going at with it? So that's why I don't want to abandon that core belief. But now, just moving forward a little bit more, the one thing I will say about Cuomo is he stuck his nose in business where it didn't belong back when Brett Kavanaugh was having the hearings around whether he was going to be brought into the Supreme Court or not. Obviously, he had some accusers come forward accusing him of doing something, 30 some odd years ago, or 20 or 30 some odd years ago. So Cuomo decided, hey, this is a great time for me to weigh in. And he said if Kavanaugh wants to get rid of all the complaints, all the accusations, he should take a polygraph, a lie detector test, and that'll make everything go away. So, Cuomo, my question to you, are you going to live to that same standard? Are you going to take a polygraph to get rid of these accusers of you right now? I don't know. I guess we'll have to just wait and see if he does that. But the great lesson that you can learn from this, and this goes for obviously Cuomo right now, but if anyone's ever accusing you of doing something, they're accusing you of being something, right? They're pointing a finger at you. Always remember that they have 3 fingers pointing back at themselves. So I think this is a great lesson for Cuomo to learn where, you shouldn't try and point out somebody else for their potential flaws or something you think that they did, because chances are when you accuse someone of doing something, you're insecure about that particular thing because you've done it yourself. It's kind of like in relationships. If somebody accuses someone of being a cheater, chances are they were cheaters themselves, right? It's kind of this weird psychological thing. So that's all that we kind of have for today. With Cuomo, he's got the 2 different scandals. You have the nursing home, and then you have the sexual harassment claims, accusations, whatever you want to call it. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what else unfolds. We'll get more drips and drops of information as we go along. So leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are regarding Cuomo. Do you like the guy? Do you hate the guy? Let me know what you feel about his politics. Let me know about the nursing home scandal. Do you think it's legit? Do you think it's just a partisan move just to try and get rid of them? And then obviously, last but not least, let me know about the sexual harassment accusations. Do you believe them? Do you think that there should be a trial? Do you think he should resign? Regardless, let me know. So now it's time for you to go enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you sticking through the video, and I hope to see you again sometime soon.